Or I would have been displayed in a so-called human zoo, which was a thing during the 1900s in Vienna. Hello Kings and Queens and welcome back. I'm Fatima, aka African Diva, and this channel is here to inform you about Africa. Sounds good to you? Well then there's only one thing left to do. Press this button plus bell so you can be notified anytime I post. Thank you very much. But today's video is going to be a bit different though. I would like to give you an insight on what it is like to be a black girl in Austria. Dun, 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 dun. As a child, I used to go to kindergarten. And that was also the first time when I noticed that I am different. Because one kid there asked me what happened to me if my parents forgot me in the oven or something. And yes, as funny as it sounds, it really scared me because obviously I didn't know the answer either. Moving on to elementary school. The school I went to was pretty social. It was also an open space for kids with disabilities. So due to that environment, I never felt excluded or discriminated for my looks. But outside of school, I still had some inconvenient encounters. I must have been about 8 years old when a white old man saw me standing at a bus station. All of a sudden he became enraged and said that I should be put in the gas chamber just as the Jews. I had no idea what he meant by that, but looking back at it and considering that there was an active concentration camp close to the city I grew up in, that is probably exactly what would have happened to me if he saw me 77 years ago. Or I would have been displayed in a so-called human zoo, which was a thing during the 1900s in Vienna. Moving on to high school. That was the first time when I saw other black girls at school. Oh. But basically, yeah, I was like, so there are more who look like me in the city? Up to that point, I always used to be the only black person in the whole entire building. And I still am most of the times. Up to this present day, when I interact with middle-aged, let's say 50+ years Austrians, they ask me right away, where do you come from? And why my German is so good. Now don't get me wrong, the problem is not that they ask me these questions, it is the timing that seems a bit weird to me and the way the question is posed. Because what they're actually trying to say is, what are you doing here? And how are you able to express yourself as good as I do? Well, it's because I happen to live here, Sabina. Just as you do. Nevertheless, there are some positive sides if you compare the level of racism to other countries. Austria is pretty safe and police brutality is limited. I'm not saying that they don't suspect you to carry around drugs with you, especially if you happen to be a male person with a darker skin tone, but at least you don't have to fear to get shot on a regular basis. Another fact I value is that education is for free, meaning no university fees, which definitely plays a big role why many Afro-Americans just simply can't afford to get a degree. Well, Kings and Queens, that was it for today. Thank you all so much for hearing me out and watching through. Definitely feel free to share your experience down in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe.